Let's get some local reaction to this now. Former long-time Conservative Party advisor and Scotland campaign director Mark Neame. Mark, let's start with general thoughts. What do you make of that exit poll? If it is replicated with the results, this is quite some triumph for Boris Johnson.
Oh, it is. He's completely vindicated, but the stance he took leading up to the election, what he tried to achieve through the House of Commons, and also in calling the election. Obviously, unpredictability of a December election. It's nearly Christmas. It's freezing cold in the UK, even colder in Scotland. And it looks like it's a prediction. The exit poll is only a prediction. It's not the actual result. But look, a very strong win is expected and a good working majority for Boris Johnson. I suppose my other observation here is, and I'm from a town called Mansfield in the East Midlands of England, in Nottinghamshire, the Nottinghamshire coalfields. Mansfield was won by the Tories for the first time in its history last time. It looks like seats around it, seats like Ashfield and Bolsover, Labour strongholds that you would never dream of even coming close, will fall to the Conservative Party tonight. It is an unprecedented result. Brilliant result, I'm very happy, but unprecedented.
Yeah, unprecedented and a triumph for Johnson, no doubt, but also a repudiation of an extreme leader in Corbyn, and also in those areas you talk about, in the Midlands and further north as well, what's been referred to as the red wall mark. You've seen individuals, according to those numbers anyway, saying we are more Leave than we are Labor.
Absolutely, and I think there are two factors in this election campaign. One is you do not ignore the democratic decision of the British people in a referendum and think you can get away with it. That's the first factor. The second is that Boris Johnson has redrawn the map of the UK, going after those working class, working communities in the north, in the Midlands, and taking seats off Labour. Labour have got their own issues to deal with, taking the party so far to the left. You're just not going to win an election. Corbyn abandoned that ground that Tony Blair dominated in the 90s and early 2000s to try and take it to the extreme left. And another issue is that the people of the UK will not elect a party that has anti-Semitic problems and is sympathetic to terrorists. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and absolutely. A lesson on a number of fronts for that Labor Party as they move forward. But you look at the pound sterling surging to a 12-month high. It seems that the certainty that would be craved not just by average punters and voters, but the markets as well, will be providing a sense of relief now, a sense of, well, OK, finally we've got some clarity.
I think that's right. I mean, it's the markets, it's the country, business, investors. They've wanted certainty. They've not had it since the 2017 general election, when Theresa May ended up with a hung parliament. It's got even worse recently, with a government unable to function and to get legislation through the parliament. There is certainty now. Every Conservative candidate who will become a Conservative MP had to sign a pledge that they will vote for and implement the deal that Boris Johnson agreed with the European Union leaders. So that will go through, and Britain will leave the EU. Whether people are in favour of leaving the EU or in favour of remaining, there is certainty, there is a decision, and Britain can move forward. It can start negotiate from January, start negotiating trade deals with Australia, with the United States, and of course with the EU.
I'm loath to talk about the next battle in Westminster in terms of leaving, but in terms of the Scottish result, I have to ask you, because you're a former Scotland campaign director for the Conservatives. This is a big win for Sturgeon. She wants to remain, and she, has campaigned on an independence vote, having another one. But with Johnson having that majority, how does that play out in your view?
It is an issue. I mean, obviously, I'm a unionist before I'm a Conservative. I will put the Union of the United Kingdom before any political allegiances. So, if those figures are correct, 55 out of 59 seats in Scotland for the Scottish National Party, that is of concern. That all the it's not just the Conservative Party, but the Labour Party, the Liberal Democrats as well, who are pro-union parties, have lost seats and lost seats badly. If correct, I'm hoping the Conservatives and some of the other pro-union parties may hold a few more seats. But look, she will argue she has a mandate for a second independence referendum. What Scotland doesn't need and what the UK doesn't need is another divisive referendum.
Yeah.
The country needs bringing together. But look, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out overnight. Obviously, the Liberal Democrat leader is a Scottish MP, and her seat could be in trouble if those figures are correct as well. So let's see how they play out. But look, I'm not. If that's the result, I'll be very disappointed, because the party has run a strong campaign in Scotland, a pro-union campaign, and the SNP are in government in Scotland and are pretty unpopular because not as a party, but they're not actually doing a good job running the health service, the education system, and controlling law and order, all devolved issues to the Scottish Parliament. So it's an issue. It'd be interesting to see how Boris Johnson deals with it, because he's a unionist as well and wants to keep the United Kingdom together.
Mark Neame, former Conservative advisor and campaign director, thanks for your insights this morning. Let's go back